It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're reacting to, we're having a reaction discussion video from SetoMary, titled Solving Tunneling, Camping, and Slugging in DBD is Easy. So, I want to point out, thank you guys for suggesting this video in the Discord server, the community server. So if you want to go ahead and join it, make sure you accept the rules with the little knife emoji at the bottom, and you can talk with the rest of us and also submit videos to be discussed. So here we are talking about another video suggested by one of you guys, and we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Obviously, we're talking about the sort of like the recent changes that Behavior was trying to put out, which were completely tone deaf and ridiculous.
Today we're tackling the issue of tunneling, slugging, and camping in DBD, the subject of my last two videos on the channel. Yes, I swear we'll do other stuff soon. If you only ever watched part of my videos and immediately went off on some tangent about how wrong I am without hearing my entire point, v.h.s.x. then you may think I'm just a whiny survivor main who thinks tunneling is mean and makes the game too easy for killer. But if you bothered finishing my videos, you'll remember that I am a killer main, and selfishly, one of the main reasons I dislike tunneling is because I don't enjoy doing it as killer.
So I can see that we're being called out immediately, and already we're getting straw man arguments, which, mind you, if you actually watch the video, which I'll link at the end, never said he was a survivor main. Like, never said that, so that goes to show. But hey, I guess I've been living rent-free in his head, so I guess it's makes sense, you know. I guess I'm famous now. But either way, let's continue. Now, if you want to watch the full video, which he's claiming that, oh, you should have saw the whole thing, but it's my point against that, really, because it is, if it isn't obvious, it was a, what, 20-minute video, and you spent 10 full minutes going on and on about things that were completely incorrect and flawed in every way possible. And if you decided to choose not to include counterpoints or prefacing your points correctly, which I'm assuming it must have been scripted, maybe you should have listened to the video back and tried to, you know, make sure your point was clear. Because if you're somehow misunderstood, that's really not the fault of the listener. That is the fault of yourself who is speaking. So maybe you got to go back to the drawing board on that.
But my primary reason is because the dynamic of having a style of playing that is unanimously considered mean and simultaneously objectively better is just really stupid. I've already stated more than once that the PTB patch could genuinely just be tried with nothing but the buffs to killers for spreading hooks, but that was largely a response to people saying I wanted killer nerfs to try and get them to see my actual point. And that's not really even what we're going to focus on today. Instead of getting extremely...
Like I said in previous videos, it's all just feelings. Like, we're not hearing facts with evidence and data to prove these things. It's just feelings. Oh, I feel like it's stupid. I feel like it's this. And it's like, yeah, but we still need to focus on the core here of what's actually factual and understanding that this game is, at the core level, fundamental and fundamentally about stopping one side from doing their objective than from the other, right? So if the survivors, like I keep stating, their entire objective is to fill the bar, do the gen, and if I'm a killer, my job is to stop them from doing that. What other way can you stop them besides eliminating them from the match as quickly as you can, or alternatively, you're leaving them on the ground, right? So that two people can get off of the objective, right? And sometimes even camping, because you want to get out that second state, which could then push them further into being eliminated from the game. Because why? The mere existence of the survivor being in the match provides so much value and pressure by healing, doing the objective fast, by their mere existence. They can body block, they can heal each other, save each other, pick each other up. Break your totems if you have them. Rinse, repeat. So their mere existence is the pressure. It's a player behind the character. They're going to focus on, well, I gotta escape. That's my objective. Let me do the objective. That's the whole point. and it's completely flawed to think that it's somehow going to change by adding in like overtuned changes that don't really benefit anyone. And like I've stated as well, you can't, like, the fundamentals of the game are literally that. So how do you make something that's going to be equal to the same amount of pressure of removing someone's up from the entire match so that they cannot push the objective as a team? I just don't like that's never been addressed in these videos.
Lost in the sauce with hypothetical what-ifs, I want to show what an extremely easy solution would be to this problem, and it's solely by making a few Perk space kit. Before we move on, I wanted to give an update on what the devs are trying next, because that info just came out recently. I feel like when I've done this in the past, it felt a bit demeaning, but back then it was because some people got viciously mad when they thought I was calling for killer nerfs, which I wasn't, so I tried using simple math to cater to their smooth brains. But in this case, I think a math summary is just better because it's easier than taking forever to explain the exact changes. If we could see the original PTB as like plus 20 to survivors' ability to counter slugging, plus 20 to the power of killers playing nice, and minus 20 to killers tunneling, this new patch is more like plus 10 to survivors' ability to counter slugging, plus 10 to killers playing nice, and minus 10 to killers tunneling. Now, do you see what I mean by the same proportions? Honestly, that's kinda my biggest issue.
Like I've stated before, there you can plus 10, minus 10, you could do whatever the hell you want. At the end of the day, there is nothing that's going to be as effective as removing somebody from being able to apply pressure whatsoever by them being removed from the match. That is just how the game is. If you have a problem with it, that's up to the devs. They created the game that way. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. It's like, that's just how it works, unfortunately. And the thing is that it's not even as if it's an exploit like he claimed it was. We objectively have seen people who are able to counter it. Survivors that can hold their own in chase are fundamentally going to not go down at any earlier, which can provide more pressure for their teammates to push the objectives. And I've seen plenty in my own matches, which is anecdotal, but still, I've seen in my own matches personally, people don't have any issue going against that sort of strategy. When they're experienced enough, they really do not care most of the time, because they're experienced enough to hold their own in chase. They already are experienced enough to understand, if I don't get found, I'm not going to die, and therefore now he has to chase other people, which objectively is going to completely and utterly remove his opportunity of getting a kill, which could then provide so much more pressure, because like I stated, the existence of survivors in itself is going to be pressure by them being fully capable of healing, doing the generators, saving each other, picking each other up, countering your power. If you have a power that could be like, that has like a counterplay, such as like singularity, or if you're playing like against a ghost face, you can have somebody revealing. I mean, you name it. Like, there's a lot of characters that if they do have something that spawns in the match that you can use to counter the killer's power. So by removing that character, removing that survivor from the game, is going to give you that pressure. So nothing that you can offer, you can continue to talk about this, which you even see that in the note here, because mind you, like, if you don't have a keen eye, right, it says we removed the no collision, and they want to say why. What do you mean why? Like what do you mean why? Oh man. Are we all living under a rock? Do we not see how these people have been able to use these unhooked protections aggressively? Like, what are we talking about? This is just ridiculous. Like, you have to be like trolling or something to like, or rage baiting at least. That's what they call it now. You got to be rage baiting to even say why. What do you mean why? Like, there has been numerous videos that have exposed, and I even spoke about them, why they shouldn't have that as a feature in the game. It's ridiculous. Like, what are we talking about, dude? Like, this makes no sense, bro. And mind you, right, even with the current changes that they're trying to offer, talking about bloodlust for 15 seconds, like, this isn't haste, by the way. This isn't haste. It's bloodlust, which means if you're playing a character that uses their power in any way, shape, or form, you're just you're just not getting your movement speed anymore. Because if you're playing Ghostface, he cloaks up pretty much immediately after unhooking most of the time. So your bloodlust is gone because bloodlust is deactivated when using killer powers. So this is still a trash change. It doesn't do anything for anybody. It's still not going, and it still does not compare to literally removing somebody out of the match. What about Wesker as well? Like, what about characters like that have abilities that are like low tier? What about even Freddy? Like, he starts teleporting or uses a snare. Oh, you're done. You don't have any more of that. Or you place down a pallet. Oh, you're out of bloodlust now. Oh, okay. But if you're Trapper, you put down your trap. Oh, you're out of bloodlust now. You can't use that anymore. What? Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on, man. Why didn't they just give haste? Like, give like 10% or something haste. Like, give us haste. So that you can at least use it and not have to worry about your power deactivating when you decide to use it. Like, that doesn't make sense. But regardless.
There's one perk for each of the big 3 no-nos of the Survivor Handbook: camping, slugging, and tunneling. To start, we have camping. This was actually a no-brainer to me, and while I understand the impulse to go with reassurance, given it's the more meta-relevant perk, I think kinship makes a lot more sense. First of all, I want to try to avoid adding interactable mechanics if I can, for simplicity's sake. I think from a design perspective, it's a lot more of an ask to put more buttons into the game that players have to get used to, and much easier and probably healthier to have things that just activate. I also want these things to be intrinsic things that avoid needing someone to help you do it. So while you still need someone to get close enough for kinship to activate, it's less of a decision on your teammates and thus even slightly more naturally self-protection. This leads us to our anti-tunnel perk, off the record rather than decisive strike. Initially, I had gone with decisive actually, but there's 2 big reasons.
I mean, I would try to respond to some of this stuff that was being said, but this is literally just the same exact changes that they were claiming were going to be in the PTB. So, I mean, there's really nothing to discuss there. Because we haven't really seen these changes in action, so therefore I can't really give much of an opinion. Considering the fact that we haven't been able to test these things, but I already know that it's not going to really pan out that well. We've already seen that behavior is extremely... what's the word for it? Like, they're really just not understanding at all of how this game actually functions. And they're just kind of going off of data they got from a survey, which is ridiculous. But let's continue. All right, so we already yeah, I'm just gonna skip over to this one here.
A lot easier for me, at least at first. After thinking about it more, Tenacity really does do a pretty good job of reflecting the way that behavior was trying to address slugging in that PTB, and I did try to model a lot of this after their goals with the PTB and the way they specifically tried to design it, but I really just see the whole getting up thing as much more impactful to slugging than just crawling faster and while recovering.
That is directly the issue with having base kit unbreakable. I've said this before. Actually in a previous video with talking about JC Glitchmaster's video, we both simultaneously had agreed, and mind you, he's actually a Survivor main, so I would trust his opinion a lot more about this. So the reason that base kit unbreakable is so problematic for this game is obviously the mere fact that it does remove the capability, the reason for like another form of, get ready for this, slowdown. The reason that people slug in the first place is to buy more time for themselves as a killer player. Like I've said, the existence of a survivor is going to provide so much pressure just because of what they are fully capable of doing. So by adding in a base kit perk that removes the option from needing to pick up people from the ground, they will then just not do it. they'll just continue to push out the objectives even further than they already do, which they already are extremely efficient nowadays with the generators. There's already 1,000 pallets as well. And mind you, taking into account that there's 1,000 pallets on every map, then you can stack on base kit unbreakable. You're in a lose-lose, because if you leave them on the ground, they get up by themselves, so nobody has to save them. And if you pick up, oh, there's a pallet there, so you're just gonna get stunned, and then all of that work was for nothing. So there's no scenario where you come out on top or can even counter anything besides just hearing the rhetoric of don't slug. It's like, okay, but they all have flashlights, there's 1,000 pallets here. I can't pick up without getting stunned, which is out of the control of the killer. There's no counter to that. And the more that you make them efficient, the faster the gens get, and then of course it just gets worse and worse for everybody around, because then the killers are going to then try to put on things that are more sweaty, like slowdown, to help the game last longer, because if you don't, it's a 5-minute game or even less than that. Then you have the healing speed, which is crazy as it is, the pallet density. Gens are now at an all-time high, right? Because they don't have to heal that long. They already changed that. And the chases just take longer objectively because they don't go down, because there's a pallet every 2 steps. So now even more efficiency to the gens. Now you're going to make it so they don't have to pick up 2. So now that's another form of slowdown removed. So what do you have left? And now you're trying to remove like the capability of the tunnel. It's like, what are you supposed to do in that situation? And it's been proven time and time again when anybody has tried to not use these strategies on anybody that isn't a low tier killer, that depending on the strength of the killer will be the main deciding factor in that situation at the end of the day. And unfortunately, it's because of just the hyper casualness of, I'm assuming, a lot of the Survivor players, and I'm assuming even this person here, that just, oh, I don't want to use my strategies that I have. I don't like to do that. It's like, okay, that's fine. You don't have to do that, but that doesn't mean you can start getting on a soapbox trying to tell everyone, hey, you should play exactly like I do. It's like, no one's gonna play like you, bro. Like, just because you feel like you shouldn't do it, everyone else should follow you. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like, people are still gonna want to win the game. Some people are just gonna play casually. Some people are gonna do whatever they want to do. But if they want to win the game and they are remaining somebody who's low tier, they're probably going to have to utilize strategies, and removing that from the game is alienating a lot of players the same way that behavior is trying to alienate, like, not alienate the Survivor players because of, oh, the strategies. And it's like, it's ironic because like they go from one, like, not trying to alienate like one side or one group of people, but then you're still pushing out other people. So it's like you're still losing people no matter what, and it's a terrible thought. It's terrible. But that's what behavior decided to create. So that is my biggest issue when trying to even add in perks like these, adding in these like ridiculous sort of concepts. And mind you, they spoke about reassurance earlier in the video. We already have reassurance base kit. Like, they already increased the timers on both hook states, which already made it even more difficult to be efficient as a killer player anyway. So like, how many more changes do you need to add to Survivor at this point? Like, I don't really understand it. The biggest issue is obviously the strength of Unbreakable should require you to cost a perk slot. There's no reason that it shouldn't, like, at this point. Like, you're just going to objectively make the meta even worse than it already is. By directly adding all these base kit perks is not going to give anything. It's just not good, man. And then of course we're talking about the pop and barbecue, which, like I've stated before, like, you can put on whatever slowdown you want, you can put on whatever aura you want. It's still not going to be applicable to the majority of the killers, because the high tiers are still going to be high tier, the low tiers are still going to be low tier. It doesn't affect anything. So people complaining about going against Nurse and Blight and Kaneki and all these types of things are still going to face those characters. There will be no options and no variety, and then there will just be more nerfs coming, probably affecting the low tiers even more. So Like, that's the problem. Like, you can add in whatever Perks base kit, you can do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's still just not going to be enough. It's just not. So those are my thoughts so far. If you want to watch the rest of the original video, it'll be linked in the description. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the video. But yeah, apparently we're living rent-free in his head, man. I guess he got his feelings hurt from talking about points, I guess. So, wow. You know, the DVD community, everyone. But anyway, appreciate you guys for being here, man. Consider supporting the channel with the links in the description. And consider joining the Discord to suggest other videos for discussion. And also just to talk with the rest of the community about different topics. It doesn't have to always be DVD. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. And consider following on Twitch and TikTok as well for more content and stuff. See you guys in the next one. Well, I wanted to go ahead and take some time out to thank all my members from Patreon with Crow King 101, my YouTube members, Majora Jeff, Endire, Evil Peachy YT, Zero Mocker, Christian, Hexdev, and Crow Vader, and for my Twitch subscribers, Cake is the Road, Danica 2002, Final Girl _ Bunny, Acklefin, Chili Cinderace, Zero Mocker, Ginsburg, Johns 117 _ Lovely Ghost TTV, Jar TTV, Zazabu, and Crow Vader. Just wanted to thank you guys. And if you also want to have your name read off at the end of every video, make sure you join on one of these platforms to get one of those perks, as well as the other perks you get. So appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much.